Hey, fifth grade, how's it going? Teacher Joseph here. Today's Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. Welcome to the month of September. Today we're going to learn how to calculate angle measurements on a line, which always have angle measurements that are going to equal 180. Okay, that's the magic number that we're going to be working with today. As you know, angles can be small, medium, large. They can be right, which equal 90 degrees. They can be bigger than 90 degrees, which would make it an obtuse angle, and smaller than 90 degrees, which would make it an acute angle. We've already learned about that. Today we're going to learn about different angles that are on a line, okay? And then also something that's called vertically opposite angles. If you take a look at these angles right here, this angle right here has an opposite angle, which is called a vertically opposite angle. We can have it either horizontally or vertically, doesn't matter. And those types of angles are very unique because both of them are going to be measuring the same amount of degrees. We always use degrees to measure angle measurements. Okay, so for example, A is going to measure the same exact degree amount as B, all right, because they're vertically opposite angles. If we have, for example, 1 and 2, they are also vertically opposite angles and they're going to measure the same amount, right? But if we want to find out what 0 is in this case, for example, this angle right here, okay, I can actually add this one and this one to equal our magic number, which is 180. Let's take a look at some examples. If we take a look at these two segments that are crossing right now, we have one angle measurement that is 34 and another which is 146. Now let's just pretend that we didn't know what this angle was right here. We could take 100 minus 146 to get 34, or we could add 146 plus 34 to get 180, okay? This angle plus this angle equal 180, all right? Or this one and this one, same thing. Let's look at another example. If we take a look at this angle measurement right here, we could also add up 145 plus 35 to equal 180. Line CD has 180 degrees, and also line AB has 180 degrees. So we can add up both of those to get 180, or both of these, or both of these. It doesn't matter what we add up. Okay, we're always going to get 180 degrees. If we take a look at the next example, if we want to find the angle measurement of A, we would have to subtract from 180. So we would take 180 minus 160, which you can pretty much do that in your brain, right? That would just be 20. Letter A, the measure of angle A, would be 20, because 20 plus 160 is 180. Just like that, letter B here would be 160, because 160 plus 20 equals 180. Let's just say, for example, let's try to find letter C. If we wanted to do that on the calculator, we could even do that. We could just take 180 minus this degree from this angle, 89, and we'd come up with 91. This is a 91 degree angle, okay? Doesn't really look to scale, but that's how it would be because these are complementary angles. Okay, let's take a look at some other examples. If we know this angle right here, we can also know that this angle on the opposite is the same. Same with this one. This yellow one, they're both the same angle measurement, both the same degrees, okay? And later on, you're going to be getting to know more angles outside of those angles that are vertically opposite, okay? So we'll be working with that topic a little bit more later on. Let's say, for example, you don't know what angle Y would be. Well, then you would just take 180, which is the measure of my line, minus 105 to get your answer, okay? I can do that in my head. 180 minus 105 would be 75. Okay, so angle Y is 75 and angle Z is also 75. If we take a look at this example, if we know that this angle is 40, then we know that angle B is also 40. And since A plus 40 equals 180, I know that A is 140 and C is 140. Okay? Let's take a look at some examples in your book. On page 92, in your prime book, 5A, we're going to be working on two different pages, 92 and 93 today. So open up to page 92, and let's look at problem letter A. The directions say, in this exercise, the figures are not drawn to scale, so please do not use your protractors to measure the angle. It says AB is a line in each one of these cases. So right here, we have a 180-degree line. Find the unknown angle measurements. Well, angle A is simply 180 minus 135. Let's actually do that first one on the screen. All right. Let's erase that. Here we go. 180 minus 135. We can't do 0 minus 5, so we're going to go to our 10 spot, make that 7 tens, and bring over a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5, and 7 minus 3 is 4 tens. 100 minus 100 is 0, so our angle measurement for A is 45 degrees. Make sure you remember that degree sign, okay? I already have them all placed in the answer blank right there. It's a little 0. If you write your answer like this, it's going to be marked wrong, okay? Because that is not a degree sign, that's a 0. So let's take a look at letter B. Letter B is unique because it actually has this cube, or this square right there, which means that it's 90 degrees. We already studied that in the previous lessons. If this is 90 degrees, then all I need to do is understand that 90 plus some number equals 180. Or I could subtract 180 minus 90 equals 90. So letter B is also 90 degrees. Okay? Again, let me do that a little bit slower. What I did was I took 180, which was my line, minus the amount that I already knew, which was 90, and I came up with 90, okay, which is the measure of angle B. All right? Check your answers and make sure that they're right, and let's do letter C together. Letter C says, find the angle measurement for the angle C, right? So we already know that 28 is our acute angle over here on the left. So what are we going to do to try to find out the measure of angle C? Well, we're going to subtract from 180. Let's use the calculator this time. 180 minus 28 equals 152. So my answer for letter C is 152. Okay, if I wanted to check that, I could. And degrees. I could just take 180 minus 28, which is going to give me 152. Or I could add 152 plus 28. And that's going to give me 180. Okay, let's do letter D. This one we are given the angle measurement 70. So if we subtract 180 minus 70, which you can do that in your head, you don't need to do this, the procedure, but 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 7, tens is 1, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So 110 is the angle measurement for letter D. 110 degrees. Now you see here on the bottom, in really, really small print, it says, remember, there are 180 degrees in a straight line and 360 degrees in a circle. We're going to learn about that a little bit later on. 6th grade is actually learning about that right now. Let's go to letter E. These ones are going to be a little bit more difficult. Now with letter E, we have two angle measurements that are known and one that is unknown. So we already know 30 and 28 are two of those internal angles, but we don't know angle E. So what could we do? Well, we could do one of two things. I'll show you both. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to add 28 and 30 because those are the angle measurements that we already know. 28 plus 30 equals 58. Now, since I already know this one plus this one is 58, I know the whole thing is going to be 180. So I can take 180 minus 58 to find out my angle measurement for E. 0 minus 8 we can't do, so we're going to go to our tens column, make that a 7, bring over my 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2 tens, and 1 minus 0 hundreds is 0. 1, sorry. 122 is my angle measurement for letter E. Okay? Which makes a lot of sense, because I can take 122 plus 30 plus 28, and if I add all those together, it's going to equal 180. Okay? If I wanted to really check my answer. Make sure you check letter E to make sure that you got it correct. 122 is your answer. Let's do letter F just a little bit different. Not too much different, but a little bit. So I already know that 50 plus 55 are my two angles on the right. Okay, we're trying to find angle F. 50 plus 50 is 100, and 0 plus 5 is 5, and 100 plus 5 is 105. So these angles right here together are 105. I already know that. What I can do is I can just subtract 180 minus 105. Okay, 8 minus, we can't do 0 minus 5, so jump over to my tens column, 5, 7, and 0. Okay, so that's 75. If I wanted to do it a little bit different, I could also do it like this, 180 minus 50 minus 55. It's a little bit more complicated, and some students might have a little bit of difficulty, but let's see, 8, 7, 10. 10 minus 0 is 10, and 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 we can do, but we're going to have to subtract both of these 5s, right? So this is actually 17, and 17 minus 10 is 7. So 75 is your answer. It's the same answer that we got before, 75 degrees. Okay? You can check your answer by adding if you really want to. Let's go to the last couple of problems. These are the problems that we did in class for letter E. Now, letter G and H are the same concept. What I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try these on your own. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and you tried letters G and H on your own. We're going to do these on the calculator, partially. I know that 72 plus 80 is, start with my ones column, 2, and then 7 tens plus 8 tens is 15 tens, 152. 180 minus 152 equals 28. So there's your answer. Letter G is 28 degrees. Okay, and if we wanted to check that, we could do 72 plus 80 plus 28 equals 180. Okay, let's try this one again with the calculator. I know that 180 is the measurement of a line, AB. Now I can subtract 81, which equals 99, and then I can subtract 24, which equals 75. So that is my angle measurement for angle H, 75 degrees. So basically what I did is just backwards from this letter G. I took 180 minus 81 minus 24, which are my two angle measurements right there, and that gave me 75 degrees. I think it's a pretty simple concept, boys and girls, just as long as you pay attention to the addition and subtraction within 180. That's it for today's lesson, and hopefully you learned something today. We'll see you guys on Friday.